Division 9. I Became the Zombie King. Full Drama Review. StarWire USA. Welcome back to StarWire USA, where we explore the most intense fantasy dramas, supernatural stories, action-packed adventures, mysterious characters, and unforgettable transformations. Today, we are diving into Division 9. I Became the Zombie King, a dark supernatural drama built around one of the most exciting concepts in the zombie genre. What happens when a person does not simply survive the apocalypse, but becomes the most powerful creature within it? The title itself immediately creates curiosity because it combines a secretive organization, a zombie outbreak, and the transformation of an ordinary individual into a zombie king. That combination suggests a story filled with survival, hidden experiments, supernatural abilities, betrayal, power struggles, monsters, and the question of whether humanity can survive when the person capable of saving it may also be the person capable of destroying it. What makes this type of drama particularly entertaining is that the protagonist is not presented as a conventional hero from the beginning. Instead, the character's journey begins with uncertainty. He is placed in a world where familiar rules have disappeared, where ordinary people are suddenly forced to make impossible decisions, and where survival depends on understanding creatures that were once considered impossible. The existence of Division 9 immediately suggests that the zombie crisis is not simply a random disaster. There is something organized behind the scenes. Someone has been studying the outbreak, someone understands the infected, and someone may have known that the apocalypse was coming long before ordinary people realized what was happening. The phrase Division 9 therefore becomes more than just a name. It represents secrecy. It suggests a hidden branch of an organization operating outside the knowledge of normal society. While the public may see the zombie outbreak as chaos, Division 9 appears to understand that chaos in a completely different way. This creates one of the central mysteries of the story: who created or controlled the circumstances surrounding the outbreak, and why. The title's second half, I Became the Zombie King, shifts the story from conspiracy thriller into supernatural power fantasy. The protagonist does not remain an ordinary survivor. Something happens to him that changes his relationship with the zombie infection. Instead of becoming another mindless monster, he develops an extraordinary connection to the infected. That transformation completely changes the rules of survival. This is where the drama becomes especially interesting. In a normal zombie story, humans fear zombies because zombies are stronger, more numerous, and difficult to control. But what happens when the protagonist becomes capable of controlling them? Suddenly, the greatest weakness of humanity could become his greatest weapon. The protagonist's transformation is therefore both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, becoming the zombie king gives him abilities that ordinary survivors cannot match. He can potentially withstand conditions that would kill other people, interact with infected creatures, and command forces that were previously considered unstoppable. On the other hand, his transformation threatens his humanity. If he becomes too powerful, he risks losing the very qualities that made him worth saving in the first place. That internal conflict gives the drama emotional depth. The best zombie stories are not really about zombies. They are about people. The monsters create pressure, but the real drama comes from how human beings behave when civilization disappears. People who once appeared kind may become ruthless. People who seemed weak may become courageous. Friends may betray each other. Enemies may become allies. And someone who begins as an ordinary person may discover that they are capable of extraordinary things. Division 9. I Became the Zombie King uses the zombie apocalypse as a test of character. The protagonist's first challenge is survival. His second challenge is understanding his transformation. His final challenge is deciding what kind of king he wants to become. That final question is more important than it sounds. A king has power over others. A zombie king could potentially have power over an entire army of the undead. If the protagonist chooses to use that power for revenge, he could become a terrifying villain. If he uses it to protect survivors, he could become humanity's greatest weapon. The story's emotional tension comes from the possibility that both paths are available. This creates a fascinating moral conflict. The protagonist has every reason to hate the people responsible for his suffering. If Division 9 experimented on him, abandoned him, or treated him as disposable, he could easily decide that humanity deserves no mercy. After all, why should he protect a society that was willing to sacrifice him? But that is exactly where the character's humanity is tested. Power makes revenge easy. Choosing restraint is much harder. The concept of Division 9 also introduces a science fiction element into the supernatural story. The organization may not view zombies as supernatural creatures at all. They may see them as biological subjects, weapons, mutations, or the next stage of human evolution. That perspective creates a major philosophical conflict between the protagonist and the people studying him. The scientists may believe they are controlling the apocalypse. The protagonist may discover that they never truly understood what they created. This is a familiar but effective theme in science fiction horror. Humanity tries to control something powerful, only to discover that the experiment has developed beyond human understanding. The Zombie King becomes the ultimate consequence of that mistake. Instead of simply creating another infected creature, the process produces a being capable of thought, strategy, and command. That changes everything. The zombie population is no longer simply an uncontrolled mass. It becomes an army, and the protagonist becomes its center. This transformation creates some of the drama's biggest potential action moments. Imagine a battlefield where hundreds or thousands of zombies are advancing toward the survivors, only for the protagonist to appear and stop them with a single command. The same creatures that once represented certain death suddenly become silent under his control. The visual reversal is powerful.